My brothers and sisters, may the Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Reclining at table with his disciples, Jesus was deeply troubled and testified, "Amen, amen, I say to you, one of you will betray me." The disciples looked at one another at a loss as to whom he meant. One of his disciples, the one whom Jesus loved, was reclining at Jesus' side. So Simon Peter nodded to him to find out whom he meant. He leaned back against Jesus' chest and said to him, "Master, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It is the one to whom I hand the morsel after I have dipped it." So he dipped the morsel and took it and handed it to Judas, son of Simon the Iscariot. After Judas took the morsel, Satan entered him. So Jesus said to him, "What you are going to do, do quickly." Now none of those reclining at table realized why he had said this to him. Some thought that since Judas kept the money bag, Jesus had told him, "Buy what we need for the feast," or to give something to the poor. So Judas took the morsel and left at once. And it was night. When he had left, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and he will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little while longer. You will look for me, and as I told the Jews, where I go, you cannot come. So now I say it to you." Simon Peter said to him, "Master, where are you going?" Jesus answered him, "Where I am going, you cannot follow me now, though you will follow later." Peter said to him, "Master, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for you." Jesus answered, "Will you lay down your life for me? Amen, amen, I say to you, the cock will not crow before you deny me 3 times. The Gospel of the Lord. I've mentioned in the past that John, in his account of Jesus' ministry, often uses certain kind of images, if you will, and he keeps repeating them in different forms in the course of his writings. And one of those, of course, is the difference between light and darkness, and the things which are signs of life, which are light, and things that are signs of evil, which are darkness. He also talks about the hour over and over again, and as we saw a couple days ago, now when we get to Gethsemane, the hour begins. And it is finally time of glorification. It seems kind of ironic to hear such a word in conjunction with crucifixion, but for us as believers, we know that that event is precisely what gave us victory over death. It is what Jesus did there that made the difference with regard to once again opening up the possibility of new life for all of us. In this particular account today, we find ourselves at Gethsemane, just before he goes into the garden, where they're sitting at table. And 2 individuals play a very prominent role in this particular part of the gospel: Simon Peter and Judas. And both of them, from different perspectives, end up betraying or denying Jesus, much the same as in the course of life. Many of us once in a while end up betraying or denying him. In the case of Judas, it is a complete betrayal. And we're told in John's words, it's night. So there's that darkness image that comes upon us again. In the case of poor Peter, who's more than willing to say he'll follow him everywhere, Jesus has to remind them that, "You say that, Peter, but before this night is over, you're going to deny me a few times." But the big difference, of course, is that Peter seeks forgiveness. Peter ends up coming back in contrition and ends up, as a result of that, becoming a great powerful force in the early church's life. Whereas Judas, sadly, as we're told in the gospel accounts, ended up committing suicide as a point of depression for what had taken place. In these final hours of Holy Week, then, as we make the journey with the Lord from Jerusalem out into Gethsemane and then in turn back to the cross, we have to be mindful of the fact that though these are difficult moments, they are but moments in the whole process of glorification. And our belief and our convictions tell us that Easter Sunday will come. Resurrection event will be the victory ultimately of all these things that take place now.